Shalom everyone, how y'all doing? Okay, hopefully this video is going to be quick. Someone asked me to do this video. They asked me to do a video showing some alternative to processed food. I'm always talking about plant food. People should be eating a lot of plant foods. Your children should be eating a lot of plant foods. And it occurred to me that a lot of people don't know are not familiar with a lot of plant foods. So I have quite a few people asking me to just show them examples of plant foods. And I had this one young lady, she asked me to do a video just showing some alternative to the processed food that we have available to us. So of course, I don't have every single plant food in front of me because there are millions and millions of plant foods. I'm only going to show you what I have right now in my kitchen. I haven't gone grocery shopping in a couple of days. So let me just get on with it, all right? So this here is a spaghetti squash. For those of you who like to eat a lot of spaghetti, a lot of processed spaghetti and pasta, this is your alternatives to pasta, to spaghetti. You open this and it's literally spaghetti on a plant. it's literally spaghetti on a plant. You know, you cook it the same way you cook your processed spaghetti. We don't have this in the Caribbean, but spaghetti is not a big thing in the Caribbean. We don't really. I've only learned about spaghetti when I moved here to the United States. We never had spaghetti back home, so but we don't have this in the Caribbean. But spaghetti seems to be a staple here in the United States. It's everybody eats spaghetti, I guess. I don't like spaghetti. I'm not a fan of it. But this is just an alternative to spaghetti if you're a lover of spaghetti. All right, let me move on. This here is, and if you guys can see that, that's what we call sweet potato back home in the Caribbean, and it's not your typical sweet potato here. This is a different type of sweet potato. You guys call sweet potato yams here. We have something else that's a yam in the Caribbean, but this for us is sweet potato, and it's as you can see, it's different from your typical sweet potato that you have here. All right, so these are all root, these are root vegetables as you call it. Now this right here is our yam, is what we call a yam. Let me see if I can find my knife. See if I could cut it a little bit. So that right there is what we refer to as a yam. And no, this is not potato. This is not potato. This is a root vegetable, and we call it a yam. This is a white yam. We have yellow yam and different type of yam, but this is just one species of yam that we have available to us in the Caribbean. Okay, all these things you can boil. You just peel them. You just take the peel off, and you throw it in some water and you boil them. And you can have these root vegetables with some stir-fry vegetable, or you can have it with your meat, your chicken, whatever, your lamb. All right. This you guys call yuca. Okay, we call it cassava. Yuca, cassava, it's the same thing. All right. Or tapioca. You guys use tapioca starch, flour. I don't really eat this a lot. I don't eat this a lot. This is very starchy, and I would advise anybody who's suffering from diabetes to stay away from this right here because it has a lot of starch. Okay, it's a very starchy root vegetable plant food. Back in the days, my grandmother used to use this to make starch. Back in the days, our elders used to use the starch to iron the clothes. Okay, and this is what my grandmother used to use to make her starch. That you can boil. A lot of our so-called Spanish brothers and sisters use this. I've gone to a Spanish restaurant and I've seen a lot of this. They cook this a lot, but this is not something that should be consumed on a regular basis because, as I said, people who are suffering from diabetes should just stay away from this. All right, and if you don't want to catch diabetes, you need to stay away from it too. You know, balance. You know what I mean? You can have this every once in a while. You know, as long as you're cleansing the system every now and then, and you know, keeping yourself well. It's okay to have this every once in a while, but not in abundance, okay? Now, I'm not really a fan of this, but I do put it in my soup sometimes. I use it in my soup when I'm not able to find pumpkin. Like right now, I can't find any pumpkin. And pumpkin for us is what you guys call squash. I think this is acorn squash. This is, I don't, you know, I'm not familiar with this really, but I do use it when I'm not able to find pumpkin. But I'm a pumpkin lady. I love pumpkins. And I'm not talking about the Halloween pumpkin that you guys have available here. That's a totally different type of pumpkin. We have a pumpkin that we have available to us in the Caribbean, and it's a different type of pumpkin, and that's what we eat. But I just don't have it right now. Okay. All right, so I usually put this in my soup. I love any type of pumpkin or squash in my soup. Yeah. Okay. Your plantain. I love plantain. Okay, these are all plant food. You know, that you can substitute for your rice and your pasta and your bread and stuff like that. You know, these are plant food. And the best thing, one of the best thing about plant food, okay, all of these things that I'm showing you guys, every single one of these things, right? If you put them in your juicer, every single one of these things, you're going to get some juice out of all of this, because the Most High created plant food naturally with liquid inside of them. Liquid, water, right? So all of these things have water, okay? When I'm making like a potato pudding, you know, a sweet potato pudding, I make sweet potato pudding maybe once or twice a year. I get a lot of water out of this. So your plant food contains a lot of water, which is what your body needs to function. Which is why I'm always an advocate for plant foods, because plant food contain lots of water. All right. If you throw your processed pasta in your juicer, you'll never get water. If you throw your bread in your juicer, you'll never get water. But if you throw these things in your juicer, you'll get liquid out of them. All of these things, you'll get liquid out of every single one of these things. Okay, which is why they're you know, healthier in my opinion than your processed food. Okay, here I have some beets as well. Beets is very good. Okay, very good for the heart. All right, so that's some beets there. I have here what I like to call chocho. I call this chocho. I don't know what you guys call it. I think you guys call it chayote. Yes. So here's a couple of chocho. Chayote, for those of you who know what this is. Chayote. I eat these a lot. Okay, chayotes have over 90% water content in this. This is pure water. Okay, and that's what I eat. I eat food that has a lot of liquid, a lot of water in it, and I sometimes just stir fry. I peel this, and I cut it up really small, and I stir fry this with my cabbage. I don't have a lot of cabbage left, but here's a piece of cabbage that I have left in my refrigerator. I will cut up my cabbage and, you know, cut up my chayote, and I would just stir fry them with, you know, here's some thyme. You guys gotta use fresh herbs and spices to cook your food, man, your plant foods. It gives your plant food so much, a lot of, it makes the food taste so much better when you're cooking your plant food with fresh herbs and spices. This is fresh thyme, okay? And when you cook your plant foods and you throw some thyme in there, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And this is some fresh scallion, okay? Scallion. I guess you guys call it green onion. We call it scallion. But I use a lot of this in, cooking I put a lot of this in my soups. I do a lot of stir fry with these, you know. So as you can see, I keep a lot of these things in the house. What do we have here? So let me say something about this right here, okay? This is very important. These here, what we call okra, whatever you want to call it, O-K-R-A, okay? These are okra. I have a large bag of it right here, but these are your okras, okay? And these are one of the healthiest vegetable plant foods. If you are suffering from diabetes, okay, okra is loaded with natural insulin, okay? Natural insulin is very good for the pancreas, okay? Very good for the pancreas. This has a lot of natural insulin. For those of you who are suffering from diabetes, you should be eating a lot of okras, okay? Because they provide a lot of insulin for the body, natural insulin. For some of you are taking the insulin or taking medication for diabetes. Let me say this: diabetes is caused by your eating lifestyle, your dietary lifestyle, and in most cases, it's very simple to fix. The processed food that you're eating, you need to get off of it. Get off of it. Get off of your bread, your pasta, your, a lot of rice, your pies and cakes and cookies and stuff like that. Get rid of those things. There's so much, so many alternatives for those things that you're eating. Cleanse the body, do a cleanse, flush out the system, and get off of those processed, high carb, high starchy food, and start eating stuff like okra. I'm talking to those of you who are suffering from diabetes. Okra and stuff like cabbage and stuff like this. These things have high water content in it. The body has approximately over 70% water, which means that's what the Most High naturally create. That's how He created the body naturally. That's how the body naturally function. Okay, the cells and the organs and the tissue. That's how they naturally function. All right. My camera. Okay, so you need stuff like this, especially if you are someone who is suffering from diabetes. The body needs these things, okay? And as I mentioned before, these things has natural insulin. Natural insulin, all right? For those of you suffering from diabetes, okay? Now, also, if you're suffering from diabetes, these right here, cucumbers. These are some of the healthiest thing to eat. Cucumbers has over 90% water, okay? You should be eating this stuff, all right? Plant foods with a lot of water content, okay? I eat a lot of this stuff. These are pomegranate, okay? Pomegranate. I eat loads of pomegranate. As long as they're in season, I eat them, okay? I also eat a lot of fresh green bananas. Okay, I know a lot of Americans are only used to ripe bananas, but I eat a lot of green bananas. Okay, I just slice them and I put them in some water and I boil them, okay? And I eat them with my stir fry, or you know, I might throw a piece of fish or something on the stove. But yeah, I eat a lot of green bananas. All right, these are alternative for your processed food. Okay, I see a lot of people have so much. Oh, Dr. Sabi said you shouldn't eat this and eat that, but then you guys are eating a lot of processed food, so I just don't get it. But anyway, that's green bananas. My sister is sending me another batch of sea moss, but this is sea moss, and I do drink a lot of it. As some of you guys already know, I do drink a lot of sea moss. That's an alternative for your, you know, whatever it is that you're drinking. This right here is dried sorrel, okay? Now, depending on where you are, you might call this hibiscus, but hibiscus happens to be a different flower. I don't, you know, listen, we call this sorrel, okay? And this is dried sorrel, and I drink loads of this stuff, loads of it, all right? For those of you who like to go to the store and buy your juices from the store, your fake sugary juices, this is a healthy alternative, and one of these days I'm going to make a video on how to prepare sorrel, okay? Because a lot of people have been asking me to do it. I haven't had time to do it, but I'm going to make a video one of these days on how to prepare my sorrel, all right? I use a lot of ginger in it, which brings me to ginger. I am never, ever, ever without ginger, all right? Always have ginger in my house. I know ginger is available in the winter, in the summertime. So what I would do sometimes, every year, I would buy a lot of ginger and I would freeze them. I'd put them in the freezer and freeze them so that way it lasts me throughout the winter. My house is never without ginger. Ginger is very important to me. Okay, so I have a lot of this stuff in the house, a lot of it, all right, and a lot of it goes into my sorrel, into this. A lot of it goes into this. This is sort of a tradition for us Jamaican folks or Caribbean folks. A lot of us Caribbean folks, we do the sorrel with the ginger. All right, I think right now it's citrus season in some places. These are tangerines, okay? These are tangerines. This light is not doing any justice. They're not oranges, they're tangerines. And these have seeds in them. I don't eat seedless fruits at all, okay? So if you see me with any fruits, they have seeds. This is loaded with seeds in it, okay? Loaded with lots of seeds. Now we're going to talk about this right here. These are oranges, and as you guys can see, I buy these by the bags, okay? I buy these by the bags. Tons of this I buy. I love oranges, and I don't drink orange juice from the can, all right? If I can't find fresh oranges, and by the way, these are loaded with seeds, okay? These are seeded oranges, all right? Because I don't eat seedless fruits. If I can't find seeded fruit, I just don't eat them at all. That's just the way it is, okay? Now, a lot of you guys are not familiar with citrus fruits, right? A lot of you guys are not familiar with citrus fruit. So when you go into the supermarket, you are not familiar with what is real and what's fake, unfortunately. So you just go in there and you pick up, just pick up whatever, right? Because you don't know which is real. And some of you guys go home with the oranges that you picked up from the supermarket and you don't know what it's supposed to look like. So I'm going to explain to you guys right now the difference between real oranges and fake oranges, all right? So, like I said, this is a bag of real oranges that has seeds in them, all right? And when I go to the store, I spot my real oranges right away. All right, I spot them right away. I don't know if you guys can see that. See that? A real orange, you will see blemishes. What appears to be blemishes. This is not really blemishes. This is just how the orange is. All right, you're gonna see this on your orange. If it's real oranges, you're gonna see these little things on the skin of the orange. And some of your oranges, hopefully you guys can see this. You see that green? You see how it's green right there? Your real oranges are going to be green. Some of them you might have large patches of green. The skin is green, okay? All right, because real oranges, the skin on a lot of them, you're going to see the green right there. Hopefully you can see that. All right. Now, I'm going to show you guys a fake orange because I went to the store and I got myself a fake orange. This is your fake orange right here. This is it right here. Look at that, right? I don't even know how to like, this is, it's bright orange. I know my camera is not showing it the right way, but you could tell it's fake. You could tell it's fake. These has no blemishes on them. These has no blemishes on them. And someone like myself spot this right away. Like I take one look at this for 1 second and I know it's fake, right? There's a difference between this and this. You see? There's a huge difference between the two. And not because it's huge, but it's the color. If you look at them up close, it's just the color. All right, the color of it. Now I'm going to show you guys something else. Let me show you guys something else. Where's my knife? I think I lost my knife. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you guys something else. I'm going to cut my orange, my real orange. This is a real one. I'm going to cut it in half, right? Cut it in half. And as you can see, there's your seeds right there. There's your seeds. And there's seeds hidden down in the bottom of this. Now, this is what I'm going to do with my real orange. Check this out. Juices. Juices everywhere, right? It's a lot of juice. Right? I'm squeezing it. That's orange juice right there. All right? Orange juice. Now, we're going to cut our fake orange. It's so hard I can barely squeeze it. See? A little bit of coming out. Look at that. Okay, we got a little bit in there. Okay. All right. So we got a little bit. Okay, so a little bit came out. But it's sad. There's no seeds in here. There's absolutely no seeds. No seeds at all. All right? And you guys see how hard it was for me to get a little bit of juices from this. Okay? And there's no seeds. There's absolutely no seeds at all from this, from your fake orange. So when I hear people say to me, you know, I see people, you know, on social media, oh, it's not good to be eating so much fruits all the time. They're loaded with sugar. Well, when you go home, when you go to the supermarket and you buy your orange juice in a box, your fake orange juice in a box, and you take it home and you feed it to your children. A lot of our folks, you go into the average black person's refrigerator and you look in the fridge, there's some type of fake box juice in the fridge, okay? It's either orange juice or some type of Tropicana drinks, juice, whatever that is, in the fridge, loaded with nothing but sugar, fake juice. So I'd rather have some of this than your fake box orange juice, because that's pasteurized. They boil it. Yes, they boil it, and then they put sugar. They add sugar to it. So if I have to choose between that and this, I'll have this all day long. I eat tons of this, tons and tons of this. I buy them by the bags. I go to the store and I just grab bags of them, you know. And like I say, they have lots of seeds in them, okay? You can look in the glass here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but see the seeds? There's a seed swimming around in there. All right, they have lots of seeds in them, lots of juices in them, unlike these hard things here that you can barely squeeze the juice out of this stuff. You can barely get the juice out of it, and no seeds, all right? So, I'm not going to drag this video out. But so these are just some of the things that I eat on a regular basis. There are more, you know, there are a lot more plant foods that are available to you. So what I'm saying to you guys is this: a lot of you said you don't know where to find these things. Believe it or not, these things are right in your supermarket. The problem is when you go to the store, because you're not familiar with these things, you just walk right past them. You walk right past them. You don't know what they are. You don't know how to use them, how to make them when you take them home. You've never used them before, so you say, "Oh, I don't know where to find them." They're right there in your supermarket. Because I'm not in the Caribbean. I'm right here in America, and I'm able to get access to these things, okay, on a regular basis. So if I have access to these things, so can most of you guys, okay? Most major cities have a lot of these things. I was talking to my nephew in Canada, and he have access to this stuff, and he's in Canada. I was talking to my other nephew in England, and he has access to these things as well, and he's all the way in England, okay? As a matter of fact, my nephew in Canada have access to the fresh flour of this. Now I can't find the fresh flour, so I get the dried one. But he's in Canada and he has access to the fresh plant. Good for him. But you guys do have access to these things, but you just don't know how to identify them. That's the problem. Believe it or not, I find a lot of this stuff in Walmart. Yeah. Walmart is probably the only place that I find my key limes. You guys know the key limes are the ones with the seeds, all right? If it doesn't say key limes, it doesn't have seeds. Remember that, okay? If it's and the key limes are very smaller. Those big green limes that you see on the shelf, those are GMO and they don't have any seeds in them, and you should not be using them. What you need to do if you ever go to Walmart is look to the bottom of the shelves, okay? The key limes are in a bag, and it says key limes on the bag, okay? You can't miss it, all right? So that's pretty much the only place that I've been finding my key limes, and I do find these in Walmart as well. But I got these from ShopRite. I got these from ShopRite, and I also got my tangerines from ShopRite, okay? That's where I got these things from, and my pomegranate and stuff. I got most of these things from ShopRite, but you can find your seeded limes and oranges from Walmart if you don't have a ShopRite where you are, or if you don't have a West Indian market or store or whatever. But stay away from these. Stay away from these, okay? Stay away from them, all right? Hardly any juice and no seeds at all. No seeds at all, all right? They're GMO. These were created. Let me tell you something. If I were to take you to Jamaica or any Caribbean island and take you into the woods, on the farm, you would never find this growing anywhere in the Caribbean. You'd never find these there, okay? These oranges are cultivated in the United States, in a controlled area. Okay, let me say that again. If I were to take you to any Caribbean island, you would never find these oranges in the wild, okay, growing by themselves in the wild. You'll never find them there. We don't have these in the Caribbean. These oranges are what you would find in the United States or maybe other parts of the world in a controlled environment being cultivated by humans, by human hand. Okay, that's where you would find these things, not in the wild, not on in the Caribbean on a farm somewhere in the woods. You would never find these there, these things there, nowhere in the Caribbean. Go figure. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's all I have for now, guys. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. These are just some of the things that I have available in my house. I don't really have a lot, but this is all I have for right now. Okay, so hope that helps. Shalom. Bye.